Finally
All right.
got a video back.
We're back on video. It's been a few weeks, folks. Lots of things going on, right?
Yeah.
Back here with Jeff Halligan. Yeah, it's been quite a month. We can talk about that, but first let's talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And nobody missed us anyway, right? I mean, I don't know.
Probably not. but
top 10 tonight.
We want to commit to it.
Yeah, we do. We do. When the weather stops messing with us, we'll be on more. But
yeah,
good run tonight. Top 10.
Fish tonight.
Put it together. So tell us about it.
Oh, it just feels good to finish.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I was talking to Rich earlier. It was probably the hardest month of racing I've ever had.
Yeah. And that's quite a few years. That's a big statement, right? 358s, 410s,
and some of it was, you could probably say it was rougher, but I think at the 410 level it was just more frustrating.
Certainly, especially when you've had success. I mean, you're used to nibbling at success. You've been getting better every year. 2 wins, at Port last year, and I think you expect mentally to take that next step. And these kind of setbacks that are out of your control are frustrating.
Extremely, because every race you lose so much time, and we already don't race enough to begin with. So every race we lose time. Not only that, just the financial stress of losing 2 motors, losing a car.
Yeah, no, and that's really a good segue to what I was going to mention is, losing time. The weather kept the schedule sporadic. You had a couple of top 10 runs at Port early, but weeks apart because of the weather. Then you get in a crash, you break a motor, but these are weeks apart, and there's just this sporadic pace to the season, and you can't get in any rhythm. Right?
Yeah, it's sporadic, and when you wreck a car or hurt a motor, you're not just sitting there all week twiddling your thumbs.
Right. Right.
You're preparing, and then you have stuff like that happen, and it just builds.
And how much of a setback is it too when you're, if you're out running the same car and motor combination for a few weeks in a row, you can learn, right?
Yes. Yeah,
when you're changing one component or the other every week, for one reason or another, that it's like square one almost. I bet every week, right? I mean,
I
close.
wouldn't say square one, but it takes a little bit to find a rhythm.
Yeah.
That's why we came here tonight. We want to find a rhythm. We didn't really know what to expect. We got our oldest motor in the car, and we usually are hot or cold here. Yeah, mostly cold.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that while you came here tonight. I mean, you've come to Williams Grove now a couple times. Early in the year, you and I talked, might not have been on camera, might have been off camera, but about you were going to focus on Port Royal. That was going to be the thing, and then you'd mix in a couple other here and there. Now, with all these troubles and equipment, running a little thin and things getting repaired and all that, you've actually chosen to race more, or come make some extra outings to find that rhythm. And I think on the surface, some people look at it and go, "Oh, you would think they'd be running less. They're running thin on stuff."
Yeah.
But talk about that a little bit. Maybe help people understand why you guys decide to make a trip here. And
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you're running well, you want to keep running all the time, and you run well. And when you're running bad, you want to try to figure out what you got to do. So it's like
it's tough. Yeah.
And coming here is not my favorite place.
Right.
We're Kyle's.
By the way, we're at Williams Grove, folks. If we didn't tell you that, we're at Williams Grove tonight.
We're Kyle's, but it's like one of those where you hear the outlaw guys talk about when they go to different tracks all the time. It forces them to get out of
the comfort zone, learn a little bit.
Get out of their box, and that's how we feel here. We feel like if we can get going good here, we can definitely get going good at Port. I mean, that's how we feel. It's hard because you can't take everything you learn here to Port, but tonight was nice because it was slick. It wasn't narrow. It was nice and wide, and you could kind of maneuver a little bit, which is probably more Port-ish.
Yeah,
it's completely different.
Right,
you might be able to take something.
And I know your guys they don't ever quit working, folks. They're but it was time trial show tonight, and I know you didn't have a bad lap, but you didn't quite turn in what you were looking for. Maybe got you a little behind, where you wanted to be, but you made a pretty nice, solid night out of it. Still had a good heat run and then moved forward in the feature. So I guess you can't complain.
We threw a lot at the car tonight. Every time we were on the track, we hot laps, time trials, heat race, feature.
Yeah.
And I think we you kind of go in circles trying to figure out what to do, and then I think in the future we found something there.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. Everybody missed Kyle from a few weeks ago in his guest appearance. Yeah,
it's been a rough night for me and Kyle.
The fan letters just never stop rolling in, Kyle.
It's been a rough month for all of us.
Yeah,
it's
you guys.
Not easy on anybody, honestly.
I was going to say a lot of shop hours, a lot of stress,
a lot of phone calls, a lot of
right,
a lot of alcohol.
A lot of alcohol to get you through. Yeah, understood. So
beating your head against the wall.
So with the some of the stuff on the mend, and you're trying to get a rhythm here now. Port Royal tomorrow night.
Yes. And the weather looks good.
And the weather looks good. Yeah.
So
breaking news. That's
come
right.
On out. That's
beautiful.
what we and Rich were talking at Saturday at the Wiker. It's like this is almost normal now.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
The expectation is to rain out.
Stand in the trailer and talk while it rains, or slop in the mud in the campground. But tomorrow, he's right. The weekend weather is fantastic. If you're going to pick a weekend to get out to the track, folks, get out to Port Royal tomorrow night, or wherever your local track is.
Yeah, it was a beautiful night here at the Grove. I think it was fuller than I think a normal.
It is. I had to go get the hoodie.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah, it was full.
So,
it was full. More people were here, I think.
So I know usually we, what's the path forward, real quick, for the rest of the year? I mean, I know you can't predict anything because, right. I mean,
we gotta get some motors back.
Get some motors back. Yeah.
Race by race.
Yeah, race by race.
We gotta get some motors back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's race by race.
I'll tell you.
I'd like to get to a point where I feel like we're good for Speed Week.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet.
About a month away, so you got a little time.
I'd like to get to a point where we're good for Speed Week. I would have been nice to see what we would have stacked up against last Sunday at the Wiker.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we were in position to qualify.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
had a motor issue.
Yeah, for folks who don't know, it had some fueling issues, as it looks like it turned out.
Probably from the wreck, actually.
Yeah. So that was the motor that was involved with the...
No, it was just, I think, the line, there was a lot of pressure on the lines, and we had the line that was probably blowing off.
Okay.
The fuel line. There's like, if you count the fuel lines, there's probably like 12 to 15 fuel lines in total on the car. Yeah. Individual fuel lines, because they connect somewhere and back to the tank.
Yeah.
To the motor. So it's like, it's more than... It's just a lot of lines. It's a very simple system, but it's just a lot of lines. So when you start diagnosing a problem, you'll know. And the first motor issue we had, we weren't quite sure exactly what it was. So we checked a couple things and should have checked the line. Should have replaced the lines too. It's just sometimes
little parts and complex systems. I mean,
simple systems, but one thing goes wrong, it's disastrous.
Race fans often say, "Well, he had a motor issue," but there's a lot of little.
Yeah. What caused it?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So I know the 358 is getting ready to go, and nobody will be able to hear us, which might be a blessing. But we're going to wrap up with the usual. Jeff doesn't know what's coming question.
We got 8th tonight, by the way. I don't think we said it.
That's what it was. Yeah, I said top 10, but I didn't. 8th place run. There you go. So my question tonight is, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
I'd like to be Batman because I want to be rich.
He has that figured out. That is not the first time he's thought about that, folks.
Yeah, I thought about that.
And I didn't tell him, so he was ready.
I always thought Batman was the best. No superpower, just money.
Okay.
Money and will.
So the old Adam West Batman or the movies Batman?
Christian Bale.
There you go.
That's my
Christian Bale Batman.
series.
All right, folks. All right. So when we put the video up tonight, what I want to know, and it'll prove you've watched to the end, comment who's your favorite Batman. All right.
All right.
I got some Adam West in my generation, so we're the
younger generation.
Campy stuff. So all right.
The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger.
All right.
movies.
Well, hopefully we'll be at Port Royal tomorrow night talking.
We better be
with more smiles. And
Port Royal tomorrow night.
I'm going to come up with some other questions for Jeff. I need to, now we're going to get back in the groove. The weather's going to be good, and we'll come up with something to ask you tomorrow night. So,
all right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Rich.
Yep, you bet.
See ya.